Welcome to another FIFA 20 video. Today we're talking about career mode, and if you missed my video from a few days ago, I spoke a little bit about the things we don't want to see in the game, and obviously I said we don't want to see the same career mode, and I did like a 5-minute mini rant or mini thing about career mode. This time I wanted to do a bigger video. It's going to be called My Perfect Career Mode, something like that, where I talk about all the new features, all the fixes I would do, and the designs I would implement into career mode to make it perfect. Before we get into it though, if you're new around here, I do a lot of FIFA 20 news, FIFA 19 stuff, and football news as well. So if you're into that, make sure you subscribe. What features would I remove from FIFA 19 career mode? I don't think I would remove any because I'd like to keep as much depth in the game mode as possible. Like, career mode isn't a bad experience. The problem is we've just dealt with the same thing for so long now that it's become a bit stale. It's like the WWE product. It's not disastrous, but it's just become stale. We've got a lot of good things in career mode, like the badges changing and stuff. This came in FIFA 19. It was a nice feature. The Champions League license is also a good thing. You've got the ability to do FIFA World Cup, the European Championships and stuff. That's all good stuff. Like, there's no issues with that. And also the news tiles, which are animated, and there's nothing really that bad with career mode at the moment. It's lacking new stuff. But obviously they need to still fix a few things with the current design. They need to fix the scheduling issues, 2 games in one day, games on Christmas Day, back-to-back games after a cup final and stuff. It just doesn't happen in real life, shouldn't be happening in the game as well. And it does kill a lot of people's seasons as well. They drop a lot of points when these kinds of scheduling errors happen. Also, there's a lot of news tile bugs as well. You can see my whole series about news tile bugs pretty much on the channel. Those need to be addressed. That would be the only few things that I would fix in FIFA 19. Also, there needs to be a option to go from the search players menu to the transfer hub directly. I know you can sort of do it if you go through the transfer hub first, but by habit I go through the search players option first and then I go to the transfer hub, and there's no shortcut to get to that. Of course, they need to give us more save slots. We need around 10 at least. This year we only had 4, and at least there was some workarounds that helped us solve that problem. Could you imagine if there was no workarounds? I mean, it would have been like having 20 different PSN accounts just to save some career modes. So that's pretty much what I would do for the foundation of career mode at the moment. Keep everything the same, just fix a few different things. But now let's build on top of what we've got already. We need to add some new features, so that's what I'm going to be talking about next. There's 2 features that I would add to the training section of career mode, and those were the practice match feature and the create a set piece feature. Basically, you could do 11v11, 11v5 if you want to. These are great if you want to start a new formation with your team. You don't want to waste games trying out different formations and stuff, but you still want to see how the team goes in these kinds of like new setups and stuff. Try out a practice match. You could just go into the training section, press practice match, and then you would verse a team. And basically you would be on one of the FIFA training pitches, which would be pretty cool. And then you can just play a game against reserves or something like that, some free agents or something, I don't know. I don't care who it is, but then you could just like try out your team in a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1, 3-4-3, and you don't have to waste games trying to see what works for your squad and which players fit where. Now, the whole point of manager mode is managing a team, and the whole point of managing a team is to create set piece tactics for your team. In FIFA 19 career mode, we don't really have that opportunity, but in FIFA 14's practice arena, we did have the create a set piece option. So this could apply to your normal games as well. You could record stuff, record different runs, and test them out to see what works for your team. So you could test out your little free kick thing, and if you're happy with that, you can basically just save it and then use it in the game. And that was a bad free kick, but basically the game would allow you to just press the square, and then you could save it to one of the options there. Another feature that I would add is when you sign for a club in manager mode, when you transfer to different clubs, or even when you start your career mode for the first time, you go into this like animated thing where it just shows you talking to the press, and it has like the ad boards at the back. I think this would be a nice touch because currently in career mode, you start your career mode and you transfer to different clubs and there's no acknowledgement whatsoever. You get like a little stupid article at the start, and this feels like it's your guy, like you're taking this guy on a new journey, and yeah, that would be nice. Another thing that I would add as well is the UEFA Best Player in Europe award. Career mode has a lot of award systems at the moment, but they're missing this one. I think this one would be a very cool feature to have in the game. I presume they would add it with the UEFA licensing. I'm just not sure why they didn't put it in FIFA 19. Next thing I would add to FIFA 20 career mode is the visual sim. We've had this before, maybe 10 years ago in older FIFA games, and I would keep the play match, I would keep the quick sim as well because that can be useful, but the visual sim is better than a quick sim because you can actually go into like a play-by-play sort of thing, like playing Football Manager handheld, where you can make subs during the game as well. You can also intervene, so if you're losing 1-0 and it's the 60th minute, you can jump into the match and it's just a bit of extra depth to the simulation function in the game. The next thing I would throw into career mode is minimum potential. Some people call this minimum potential, some people call it like a performance-based growth system. Basically, players should grow whenever they get game time, and they need the ability to outgrow their set potentials that EA gives them. You know, a 60 overall player can become a 90 overall player in your save if they're doing well and they're performing, they're getting game time and stuff. At the moment, they've got no chance of hitting that unless EA gives them that potential. So I don't know if it's going to be like an XP system, but after the game maybe you can allocate XP to players. I'm not really sure, but I think for career mode to really feel different, they need to change the potential system, make it maybe minimum potential, but the players need to grow based on their game time and stuff, because that's how it works in the real world as well. Players don't get given a set potential in their career when they start, and they can never exceed that potential. The next thing I would add back is request funds. This is something that is a no-brainer. Everyone has been requesting it for the last few years now. EA took it out of the game for no reason. Basically, you can promise to board stuff, and if you needed that extra maybe 5 million or 10 million to complete a signing, you could submit a request and you would get an email saying if you got the money or you didn't in a few days' time. Another useful feature is the squad ranking feature. Now, this one got removed for no reason as well. It would basically tell you your best player to your worst player. It just ranks your squad, but it tells you how their form is and stuff like that. And of course, another thing that we need back is the goal difference column on the league table. Why did EA remove this column? Out of all the columns to get rid of, they got rid of the goal difference one. Goal difference is important. When you're playing in leagues, you need to know the goal difference because it can affect your place on the table, and they got rid of it. I don't know why, but now we need a calculator just to work out the goal difference. The next useful feature that I would add back into FIFA 20 career mode is the inquire feature. So let's say you're looking at a player but it hasn't been scouted yet and you need to know how much he is. Basically, you can skip the scouting and you can just press inquire about the player, and then in a few days' time, even without knowing the overall and stuff, the club will send you an email telling you how much they want for him. Another feature that I would add into the perfect career mode is the future fee option for loan players. So let's say I wanted to sign Chrigz for a year, he would do his loan spell with me, but then after a year I would have the option to pay 2 million for him, and that would be an agreed price. Like, it doesn't change after a year. It's just whatever you negotiated at the time of the loan contract. This next feature that I would put into the perfect career mode is sponsors. You need your sponsors back. They've been removed for so long. They need to come back. And basically you would get funding every game from this sponsor, so maybe £230,000 a game. And then there's a loyalty bonus, there's a league bonus if you complete the objectives, there's the international cup bonus, so many bonuses. And basically it's just an extra source of revenue for your club. Every club has sponsors that pay them money, and in FIFA career mode we don't have any sponsors. Another thing that needs to return is surprise mechanics, formerly known as internal memos. And basically these would occur every maybe 3 or 4 games, and you would have to make a decision which would affect your fan support, your owner's trust, stuff like that. So we have an example here where the chairman sends me a thing and says, I know the team is tired after the game, but I've promised that they will be attending this function. You would have 3 options. Some will be good responses, some will be bad. If you pick a good one, it would increase your fan support and team fatigue. Obviously, fan support needs to be a feature in the game as well for this to occur. Staff upgrades is another feature that I would bring back into the perfect career mode, and right now you don't really get much staff besides your youth scouts and stuff like that. But back in the day we had a striker coach, midfielder coach, defense coach, goalkeeper coach, negotiator, scout, medical staff, and stadium manager. Now I know the coaches for strikers and stuff could be a bit redundant because we have our own training system in career mode at the moment, but at least give us a stadium manager. Just some staff would be nice. In the perfect career mode, we need proper press conferences. These are press conferences where you can choose to submit different kinds of answers, and they would affect team morale and player performance and stuff like that. Well, in PES Master League 2020, they're going to be doing this. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. But you can see from the example, it says, what style of football do you want to play this season? I presume this is like the start of the campaign, like the start of the Master League. And it says, I want to see clean sportsmanlike football. I want to put on a show. I want the boys to play hard. You can pick whatever. So you can see how cool it is to just give different kinds of answers. Currently, the press conferences in FIFA 19 are pretty much useless. I would also like to have a feature where you can use existing managers like a Lampard or a Gerrard or something like that, because they've got the faces in Ultimate Team. All they need to do is just transfer them across. And also, I would like to see the use of legend managers as well, like PES is doing with Maradona and Cruyff and stuff like that. We need this type of thing because some people don't want to create their own manager, but they would like to use a real-life manager and do a story with them instead. It's time for the concept managers in career mode to go. I've had enough of them. We need proper manager customization. Pez does this pretty well at the moment. You can pick your eyes, your forehead, your nose size, mouth size, whatever you want. You can make a guy look exactly like you would. And if EA is not going to do game face, this is the next best thing. We don't want those concept managers anymore. I'm sick of using the same 8 or 9 that come up every year for the last few years now. It's time we have proper manager customization. This feature is also pretty cool. It comes out of Master League, and it used to be in older FIFA career modes as well. Predicted growth charts. Now, in this chart, at the bottom is the age, and then on the left is the overall, and then the blue line you see is the predicted overall. So at the moment, Aubameyang's at an 87, but in a few years' time, you could see that he's projected to go down. If you take a look at a player like Arnold, you can see the difference between his actual progress and expected progress. Training obviously affects this, but he's a young player. In this game, he's about 20, 21 years old, and at the moment he's 75. But by the time he reaches 23 years old, he is expected to be at an 80 overall. So in 3 years' time, I should expect a 5-point overall growth. So you can see how useful this is for youth academy players and just every player in your team. I found these really cool features in franchise mode in Madden that I want to bring over to FIFA career mode as well. In owner mode in Madden, you could set prices for different player jerseys. So you can see with this example here, Nike jersey, the average price is 110. The current price, you can set it to 90. And you can see how many you sold last week. So that is pretty sick. Also in this next screenshot, you can set the price of fries, hot dogs, peanuts, whatever you want. There's the option for that. That is absolutely sick as well. And then there's this one here where you can adjust the suite tickets and the other tickets for the stadiums and stuff. So yeah, we used to have the adjust ticket pricing thing, but this one is like the next level where there's different tiers and you can set different prices for different tiers in the stadium as well. I've got a few other little things that I want to discuss as well for career mode. I would like to add the ability to apply for jobs at different clubs and national teams. So instead of waiting for offers to come to you, for national teams and stuff, you can just hit them up and see what they say. Also for different clubs as well, that would be pretty cool. Vice captains need to be a thing as well, because if you sub your captain off, the armband goes to a random player instead of going to your vice captain. Also, if they could change the UI design of career mode, that would be really cool as well. Keep it simplistic though. I'm just sick of looking at the same design for like 5 years now, so if they could change that, that would be nice. Obviously, if they add more features, they would need to. I think if they took the idea from Pez and implemented some proper stats as well, that would be really cool, because in Pez, the stats are pretty cool. You could see your pass completion rates, where your team likes to attack, and much more. So I do like that feature as well. Also, if they could take the club ranking feature like Pez and put it into career mode, that would be pretty cool as well, just to see where your club stacks up against the rest of the world. Moving on to some player career mode. I'm not really an expert on player career mode. I haven't played it for a long time, but if I were to give some suggestions, it would have to be copy what you did with the journey. They should have post-game interviews where you can answer different questions and stuff. They could even do this in manager mode with your manager as well. Also, the customization thing for your player needs to be from the journey now. The journey version is so much better than what you get in pro clubs and player career mode in FIFA 19. Also, if you sign for a different club, you should be able to see a cutscene where you're holding up the jersey and stuff. And then if you get into the team of the week or something, you should have like your own foot card that you hold up in like the animated news tile section. Once again, I'm sure there's plenty more improvements that can be made to player career mode, but I don't really play it. It's not really my specialty. I'm more of a manager mode guy. So let me know down below where you want to see done to player career mode. If you need something else to watch, make sure you click the card in the middle. It'll take you to my video about 5 things we don't want to see in FIFA 20. I'll see you next time.